What's up, everybody? What's up, Lindsay, Professor Lindsay Howard? How are you? Nice shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you. This is old school.
Old school, best way.
Oh
Nice,
yeah.
right on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
I figured I'd bust it out one of these days.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
Looking good, representing.
that's right. Always been a fan.
Yes.
So happy Father's Day. A day late.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I won't hold it against you. Yeah, no, it was awesome. And what a great way to start the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Ask the Dietitian edition of the Mike Dolce Show. Hang out, stay tight. We're going to be talking about quite a few topics today that you want to hear about, one of which is the Summer Shredded Challenge. And it is not too late to get your ultimate summer body. And I'm actually going to ask Professor Lindsay Howard what her ultimate summer shredding tips are for you. So feel free to start asking questions right now. But Father's Day was yesterday, and Lindsay, you would be very happy to hear, because of you, I was motivated to break out the grill.
Yes. Let's go.
Yeah.
How was
you
the
hear that
cleanup?
feedback, by the way? Do you hear that little bit of feedback? I just switched the audio at the last minute. We'll see what happens. So.
Okay. I'm good.
All right. But I did break out the grill. It was awesome. It was glorious. Certified Piedmontese, grass-fed, grass-finished burger patties. Click the link below. Save 25% promo code Dolce. The most glorious burgers I have ever made, by the way. They even have hot dogs. I mean, grass-fed hot dogs at Certified Piedmontese, like awesome. And then I made a whole rack of drumsticks, like chicken. We call them chicken wings, but they're like as big as this microphone, just like these massive, like Fred Flintstone drumsticks. So barbecued those up, and it was awesome. What a great day. Brandy was on potato salad duty. She knocked it out of the park. Good stuff.
Nice. Sounds good.
Perfect
I
day. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I traveled home to Maryland and had world famous crab cake.
Ooh,
So
Maryland
good.
crab cakes. Wow.
Mhm.
Homemade.
So
You
good.
go to the restaurant. How'd you get it done?
So there's a place called Papa's. It is very well known. I think it was on like Oprah's favorite things, so they like blew up because of that. But they are, I mean, it's high quality. There's like no filler. It's all crab meat. Very good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then you got to see Dad.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Very nice. So you drove from Scranton, Pennsylvania, down to Maryland, then back up to Scranton again.
Yep.
How many hours is that?
It's 3. It's not bad.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah. So I
Actually.
drove home yesterday morning and then came back this morning. So
That's actually a nice little 3-hour drive. Is a nice drive. I like 3-hour drives, actually.
yeah. Any more would be like a lot. Less
Yeah.
would obviously be easier, but 3 is pretty good. The only issue is I'm chugging water the whole time, and I don't like to stop. So by the end, I'm like waddling out of my car.
You're blue. Nice. You might want to do, so what we do, because I Father's Day, right? I have 2 still young daughters in the car, a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. Thankfully, both well potty trained, and they have been for a while. But we're kind of germaphobes, and I have no desire to bring my 4 or 6-year-old daughter into like a public restroom unless absolutely mandatory. So we keep a kind of like, how do I say this? Well, it's like a DIY potty. So here's the little parent hack. You get a bucket, a general bucket, like an easy Home Depot bucket, have some garbage bags and such, and just get one of those like little training potty. We have like a little Minnie Mouse little potty that like fits over your normal toilet seat. Have one of those. You just keep it in the back of the truck, and it's like perfect. You have to pull over, bam, and we have a Suburban, thankfully. What we've done it actually in like the front of the cab when we were moving, cross country. We did the same thing. It works out real. I like, I keep telling Brandy, you should use that, if we're ever on a long trip, and she's like, no. Find a Starbucks. Like Starbucks is her standard.
Right.
Find a Starbucks and we'll be good. Hopefully we can merge it into a little restaurant visit. So just a hint, Lindsay, it can fit in the car, and they even make like collapsible ones now with the like van life and camping community.
I might have to consider it.
Because I would much rather relieve myself in the back of my truck, as uncomfortable as that might be. Sorry for the visual. Instead of most of these restrooms that you walk into, they're just disgusting, right? Dirty, filthy. Nobody wants to clean them. That's a whole nother conversation. So happy Father's Day, all the great dads out there. I did throw a post up today on Instagram page. I suggest everyone, all the dads out there, everyone should go and read the earlier post for today. As dads, and I'd like to see what you guys, so everyone watching right now, feel free to leave comments live feel free to leave comments below the video. And Lindsay, let's get your comments on this. I feel that fathers and fatherhood are often minimalized. The importance of a dad seems to be minimalized and even belittled. The role of a father in children's lives in modern society, they seem to go out of their way to poke holes in the father figure, to make fun of the father figure, to lump every male and every dad into the Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, type of individual. And you probably have a great dad. I, love to hear more. And everyone out there, I understand that. This has no bearing on moms at all. Moms are amazing. Moms are powerful. Moms are incredible. Moms are so important. Also important. But the role of the father, and just from personal experience, is just, damn, it's minimalized. Like dads are the running joke in almost every conversation, like every TV commercial. It's the doofus dad. Right. It's always like the doofus dad. The doofus dad is a very common avatar. And I object to that type of representation, because what does that do to children? Like, what does that do to children? And also, I will point to weak fathers out there as being, in many ways, weak fathers or absentee fathers being responsible for small waist, pretty face, and a big fat bank. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, you have 15, 20, 25-year-old women, girls to women, young ladies, girls, young ladies, women, doing this stuff. That's a whole nother conversation. Like, what are you really looking for? Well, you're looking for attention. You're looking for mostly male attention. I'll put on my pocket Freud, hat here. We're not doing that stuff. Ladies, in my opinion, aren't doing that stuff. And I'm a two-time girl dad. I live in even my dog is female. I live in an entire house dominated by women. So I very keenly understand the role of a strong male figure. Now, strong does not mean domineering. Strong means a strong male who is hopefully becomes the avatar for what women normalize the relationship with a male to be. And I see a lot of the weakness out there. So this is a slightly different conversation. I mean, ask the dietitian. So it should be ask the psychiatrist edition. And I know Lindsay has many skills. So I'm talking a lot. Lindsay, what do you think about everything I just said here?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like, stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. So you don't hear about like the mom who abandoned her kids. You know what I mean? You never hear that. You always hear about absentee father or single mom. Well, there's probably just as many probably not as many, but it's still a significant amount of single dads out there with really shitty moms, but it's just not talked about. And I don't know why that is, but, I've been fortunate to grow up in a house where, both my parents were equal and have been forever. So I don't know. I do think it's definitely a societal thing. It stems from a stereotype of, the dad gets the kids on the weekends and pays the child support and stuff like that. So I think it all just kind of manifests and carries over into things. But that's why we celebrate Father's Day, right? For all the good dads out there.
all the real dads out there.
That's
Now,
right.
just the donors out there, and I think that's what you're alluding to. Just
Yeah.
the donors having, one physical act can actually create a child. And
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, well, many times, the father and mother might be ill prepared to raise the child.
Mm-hmm.
And this actually creates weak single mothers and weak absentee fathers. So now you have a weak parental system that is normalized amongst a whole demographic, age-wise, of the population, who grow up believing that all dads are absentee dads, and all moms are these victims of society. Well, that's not true also, because I know a lot of, I've come across many a-hole absentee dads, and I've come across many a-hole inadequate moms. Right. So, that's kind of out there. Usually that is a result of really bad decisions early on, and consistent bad decisions as life continues. Throw a child or two or three into that mix. Oh my goodness, like, this is terrible. So I think my point is, let's kind of now tie this up, is we as a society should raise up the powerful women out there, the powerful moms, whether single moms or married moms. We should raise up the powerful father figures, the dads, the real dads, even the stepdads, let's say, whoever actually steps in and assumes that role and leads by example. Now, me as a dad, the most important aspect of my world is being an example to my daughters, to create expectations for them. What is appropriate behavior? What is inappropriate behavior? How is a man supposed to act? Now, it's very important for them to see that. And I see a lot of horrible parenting out there, whether the parents are together or not, just terrible parenting, dismissive parenting, parents who defer the parental role to technology, to the nanny, to friends. And the biggest one, my biggest pet peeve, having gone through the 2020 as it was, we decided to pull our children from school. Now, they were young. My youngest was just going into pre-K 3, and our oldest was just going into kindergarten. They got the experience the first 2 months, and then we pulled them. We pulled them because we did not agree with the dysfunctional, disordered, fearful, anxiety-induced situation our children were being thrust into inside the poorly run school systems. This does not in any way cast aspersions onto the teachers. Every school teacher I've met has been an amazing human being put into an untenable position. They were misled by the governors. They were misguided by the Board of Education. They were mistreated by the parents. But Brandy and I have worked our asses off to put us in a position that we could just step in, pull our kids home, modify our lifestyle, and make sure our kids had the structure that they needed to thrive. So I saw a lot of parents that I would speak to, and they were just like, oh man, I can't deal with my kids. I can't deal with my kids home all day. Like, oh, screw that. Like, send them to school. I'm like, you don't care that your kids are wearing masks for 6 or 8 hours per day? You don't care that they're sitting inside plastic bubbles with masks on for 6 to 8 hours per day? You don't care that they can't hold hands, they can't high five, some can't even take gym class, they can't engage, they can't interact, they can't view social cues, smiling and frowning. The teacher cannot emotionally relate to these children, as the teacher themselves are dramatically overwhelmed. Many of the kids are walking around carrying the fear that their parents have pressed down into them, because the parents allow CNN to run on a constant loop, or Fox News to run on a constant loop, as little Jimmy or little Jane is walking around playing, wondering what's going on. A parent's job is to ensure safety and structure for their child. And I am just disgusted. And I will say, unfortunately, The majority of the parents I've come across, not everyone, but the majority, have completely dismissed their role as a parent and the responsibilities that come with that very important title. They dismissed that, they deferred that simply because they're worried about small waist, pretty face, and a big fat bank, right? The parents who are so focused on their false social media life than actually their real life in raising their children. So again, this is a Father's Day inspired rant. I would love to hear what you guys think about this. And I know I might be, probably maybe shaking you guys up a little bit in the things I'm saying, but tell me that I'm wrong. Tell me that the things I'm saying aren't true, right? And most parents, well, you were home anyway. Most parents all last year, well, you guys were home anyway. Many parents kind of looking for a break from being a parent. BS, I'd love, and here's another thing. I would love for people to look at their phone and actually look at how many hours they spend on their phone per day. 3 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. And don't pretend that it's my work. It's my work. It's my work. No, it's not. You can actually see how much is your work and how much is wasted. Take that same amount of intentional time that you're scrolling IG or worried about other people's lives and actually sit on the floor with your children and engage with them personally. So Father's Day, I take it very seriously. Father's Day, my Father's Day was all about my kids. It wasn't about, me or anything else. It was being just a present parent, with my children.
Yeah, I think that could branch into a lot of aspects of life. I saw a quote today that said, surround yourself with people who make you forget that you have a cell phone, or something like that. Surround yourself with people that make you forget about any sort of notification, you don't care, whatever. You're just with them.
Yep.
And it's something that in this day and age, because we're glued to our phone, I'm guilty of it. We have it. It's constantly notifying us. I have Apple Watch that notifies me too. Yep. So it's almost like you have to intentionally put your phone down or intentionally be involved. But I mean, I certainly can't speak on proper ways to parent. I'm not a parent myself, but even just talking to my sister about it, she's got 2 young kids, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And she's really intentional about that. If the 4-year-old's mom, and she's sitting there like this, hold on. That's horrible example. So she's been really good about being very attentive and not letting your kid just see you on the phone, or not being the iPad kid. You see the kid that won't listen to you. So they're here's an iPad. So I don't know how that changes. And I certainly do think that there are great parents out there, but I certainly do think there are people that rush into things, and society says you have to have a kid at this age and you have to get married at this age. So they just fall into that trap and they're not ready for it, or they don't truly want it. There's a lot of outside pressures. So I don't know what the answer is, but it's definitely an interesting conversation.
Well, I think, it seems like the audience is still, interested, and to slightly add, Brandy and I, we were very intentional with having children. We were intentional. We were responsible. We were accountable. We were thoughtful. We were planning. We didn't just oopsie. No, oopsies, it can happen. It can happen. But the amount of times that happen is single-digit percentage. Very, 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 very rare ever. We were intentional with our life, the structure of our life, what we wanted to do, what we needed to do, how we wanted our life to go. And if things worked the way that we had planned, then they would work out the way that we did. So we chose, and we saw in our early and mid 20s, all of our friends were rushing to get married and rushing to have kids. And we were like, what's the rush? You have to prove your commitment to each other, or are you trying to trap each other? Or are you trying to get married and have a kid so you can walk around and show the ring and point to the kid and say, hey, I'm validated. I'm validated now. I'm a part of that. And many of those that we know from those ages, and most data, you can look up the data, most data supports that those relationships don't last. Those relationships wind up breaking down because they were built on false foundations. You're rushing in too soon. You're complicating the situation further with the responsibility of having children while still being children themselves. Now, I'll say, you know, as a 45-year-old man, 25-year-old me is still a child, right? There's only a little bit of life. At 25 years old, you're still under, in many ways, not me, because I had a terrible upbringing, but most 25-year-olds have never really been on their own. They've been in their parents' home up until 18. Now they're in possibly an academic institution, still kind of like it's like a daycare for really big kids. The parents are still paying for a lot of what's going on also. Like really late 20s into early 30s, that's when most humans kind of enter into the fully autonomous adult version of themselves. And this is me too, all of us, right? And I grew up much faster than most simply by circumstance, for whatever that is. So maybe it changes my perspective to a degree, having understood, slow down, everybody. Like Brandy and I were like, hey, slow down. Let's wait. Here's some mile markers we want to hit in life. Here's some career paths we want to hit. Here's some financial waypoints we want to hit. Here's a list of travel we want to do, life experiences we want to have. And we took our time. We dated. We never lived together until we were actually married, believe it or not, which is crazy nowadays. It's crazy. I would literally get in my car, drive to Brandy's house and pick her up, and we would go on dates. Now, I had my own place, and she would come over, you know, every so often, and, you know, maybe pack a bag and whatnot in the earlier days. But we never lived together until we got married. And then once we got married, we slowly built a life together. We went through the first little apartment, $600 apartment with the plastic picnic table as our dinner table. And then the 2-bedroom little townhouse in the crappy neighborhood, but the nicest thing we ever had. And then slowly, we built this life together. That enabled us, I believe, to be better parents. Having gone through all these things together, having developed these bonds, which are necessary for interpersonal relationships. We're building bonds with people through experiences, through trials in many ways. Having gone through these so many times, so many things, to the point that we finally, 15 years into our relationship, had children. Like, think about that. Who waits that long to have children? Brandy was 20 when we met. Victoria was born when Brandy was 35. Right? That's a big difference from a lot of people, you know, kind of, you know, focus on. And my moral of this story is, do not be in a rush. Take your time. Just like universal principles, evergreen. Be intentional. Be accountable. Be mindful of all of your actions, all of your decisions. And here, coming off of Father's Day, I think this was a completely unscripted rant, by the way. Can you tell it's on my mind? I'm just so disgusted with a lot of the people out there, the fake parents out there, the frauds out there, moms and dads on both sides, the way the media and the politicians, they all spin up this false narrative, but they're not out there doing the work. Like, I know many of those watching right now, many inside our community, because I've gotten that little post today. I got right now dozens, maybe 40 or 50 DMs already from the post I put out just a few hours ago, that's a lot of engagement. God knows by the end of the day, it'll probably be hundreds of messages that people personally sent me, thanking me for saying what I said, which, you know, was a very brief sentiment. And I think it really did hit a note. So hold it down, moms and dads. Be that role. That's the most important job you will ever have, no matter what. That's it.
All I said was Happy Father's Day.
I know, Lindsay.
And here we are.
You brought it. You pulled it out of me. You know how to push my buttons. All right. So now, moving on. Everyone here, feel free to leave questions. You have Professor Lindsay Howard on right now, who is a rock star in the world of health and fitness and nutrition and sports performance and you know, programming, strength conditioning, and then just making good lifestyle decisions. I think, Lindsay, you've made a lot of really good lifestyle decisions. Working with me might be suspect. I got to change my whole, you know, concept here on you. But, so everyone, please, leave. And I see some comments are actually coming in now. But now moving on, I wanted to discuss the summer shredded challenge, and Lindsay's going to give her tips. Now, what is the summer shredded challenge? Let's just take a minute right now and let's hop back here to, let's see this. Bam! 218 pounds. That was me 7 days ago. Fair enough. Bam! 211.4 pounds. That was me this morning, post Father's Day. I admit I did eat slightly more potato salad than I should have. I will admit I followed every meal perfectly, but I did allow for Father's Day barbecue to enter my world. I probably would be at least a pound lighter. So true transparency here. 211.4 down from 218, approximately 7 pounds I've lost in the last 7 days following our 3 weeks to shredded program in the midst of our summer shredded challenge. What I had said last Monday, was I'm going to do this, follow this journey with you guys, with the community. Ooh, that is the burger I actually made, certified Piedmontese. Oh, Lindsay, it was so freaking good. I'll get to the barbecue skills for anyone who wants to stay on. And I had a few really interesting learnings about the barbecue also. But after we talked to everyone about losing fat, getting shredded. So you can see I went 218, 214, 212, and then down, or 211. That's almost 213 right there. So I lost essentially almost 1 pound per day every single day for the last 7 days following our online 3 weeks to shredded program. You guys, if you're interested, you can simply go to thedolcediet.com and you can start. You can start the 3 weeks to shredded program. You can be one of these amazing testimonials. You see how incredible these results are of people who have literally changed their bodies. They've changed their lives by following our program, which is super cool. So the Summer Shredded Challenge was created to motivate our community to step up. It is not too late to get your ultimate summer body. It's not too late. That's the thing. Most people think they're like, it gets hot outside and they're like, oh, well, summer's here. I guess I just have to be a fat twat the rest of summer. Right? I guess I'm just going to have to go get drunk and eat pizza and wings every night because, summer's here. What am I going to do about it anyway? So I'm just going to totally feel horrible. I'm going to be embarrassed the entire time. I'm going to make excuses for why the bikini doesn't fit me properly, why my muffin top is hanging over my board shorts, why I'm just sweating in air conditioning, and I just avoid almost all outdoor social enjoyment because they didn't start early enough. The concept is you can start right now. I just lost 7 pounds in 7 days. My goal is to lose 21 pounds in 21 days. I will weigh 197 on July 4th. That's what I said. So 218 to 197 in 3 weeks. That's what I'm in the middle of right now. And I still have 14, 15 pounds to go. So I got real work to do right now to get this done. But following the 3 weeks to shredded program, I am 100% convinced, positive it will happen. Following the program, you guys can click the link below. If you're interested in following along, anyone who does follow the Summer Shredded Challenge, use promo code SummerShred at thedolcediet.com. You will save 25%, but you will be invited to join my private Facebook coaching group, which is worth many times what any cost of the program might be. But also, the next 3 weeks will pass by anyway. Why not lose 21 pounds in 21 days, or 10 pounds, or 15, or 25? Who knows? But why not get started? And it's not like you can't have an amazing grass-fed, grass-finished, certified Piedmontese double cheeseburger with mustard and ketchup and relish. And I might even have had a certified Piedmontese grass-fed hot dog, which were probably the most incredible hot dogs I've cooked in my entire life, by the way. And we'll talk about those grilling skills a little bit later. So again, anyone interested, thedolcediet.com to get started. Click the link below to learn more. It's not too late to get your ultimate summer body. And speaking of which, now, Lindsay, what are your tips, your top tips? Those listening right now, All right. Summer body. Summer's here. Beach is coming. Pool party. What are we going to do?
So I think the first thing is you have to start with like a mindset, like a plan. Because I think a lot of people, we live in diet culture. So,
Yep.
People are like, oh, I'm going to try, Nutrisystem or whatever. Or they think everything's failed in the past, so I'm not going to try again because I know that I'm going to fail. So you're like setting yourself up for failure. So I think the first part is the mindset, 100%. It's like you have to decide that you want to do it. And not just decide, but write down your goals, figure out what your goals are, why they're your goals. Because that's what it all comes down to. Feeling bad about yourself is going to make you feel bad about everything else in your life. Yeah. So even if you take one day to change your habits and you change your habits for one full day, everything else that day is going to be better. Your work efficiency, your relationships with your family, like we were talking about earlier, what you did in your free time, your workout, everything's going to feel better if you accomplish your goals for the day. So I think mindset and discipline, kind of to segue into discipline is key. Like you can't decide that you're going to do it and then you start changing your habits for 3 days and then you're like, oh, well, I did it for 3 days, so I'm going to fall off for a day. You can't do that. So and we just had great conversations with the 6 individuals that are in the intensive program about planning out earned meals and earned events. And, if you're going to have, if you're going to drink or whatever it may be it for a reason, and take care of all the other things first. But to talk about more specific things, water 100% is the first thing that I think about for most people. I was literally just joking with somebody upstairs. She had a gallon on her desk. I was like, yes, gallon gang, let's go. She's like, I can't drink this whole thing. I'm like, why not? She said, well, I'd be peeing all day. I'm like, well, you should drink the whole thing. Yeah. Like, you're not even going to drink a quarter of it. Yeah. So hydration 100%. If you come off a really horrible weekend, you're feeling bloated and like you're up 3 or 5 pounds just from inflammation and holding on to excess water and stuff like that. If you just start drinking more water, you'll see weight just passively come off. Like it's just going to happen. Now that won't happen if you're not taking care of what you're supposed to be taking care of in the kitchen. So stop eating out for all of your meals. Start cooking your food. I can't stand when people are like, oh, I don't have time to cook or I don't know how to cook. Well, learn. You're an adult, so it's time to learn. Or people that are like, oh, I don't really like vegetables at all. Like, well, grow up, eat a vegetable.
I don't like paying taxes.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
We adult. We do what we do.
Right. Not to sound harsh, but eat a vegetable. They're good for you. You probably didn't eat them growing up, so that's probably why you don't like them.
And looking at your ass, you should probably eat too. I'm just saying.
Right? Yeah. So start the easiest switches. Drink more water. Start to switch out, even in just the carbohydrate group, switch out all your crappy carbohydrates for the majority fruits and vegetables. So a plant-based, not so much plants like wheat type plants. Not to say that you can never have rice or a bun on your burger or anything like that, but keep those in limited quantities. So try to get the bulk of your carbohydrate consumption from fruits and vegetables. By doing so, you're going to dramatically increase the amount of nutrients that you're getting and the amount of fiber that you're getting. So with an increase in fiber, you're going to improve your digestion with all those micronutrients, improve your digestion. And I guarantee those gimmicky commercials that say you could have 15 pounds of toxic sludge in your digestive system. Well, you probably do. You probably have all this garbage that's in there because you don't have enough fiber to bind everything together and get things moving. So I think those are my top things to start with from a nutrition standpoint. We always talk about sleep, prioritizing your sleep, because you could be doing everything right. And if you're not getting enough sleep, that's just going to halt your results. You need enough time at night to be asleep for your body to do what it needs to do, to reset, to metabolize, to top off things. It's essentially your rest time to restart for the next day. So making sure, and Mike, you always said, get to bed at least 9 hours before you're supposed to wake up. Yeah. That doesn't mean you have to sleep for 9 hours, but you're in bed, you're starting to get rested, trying to get, 7-8 hours at least. There's people that sleep for 4 or 5 hours and they're like, oh, well, I'll take a nap later. Well, if you have time to take a nap later, you have time to go to sleep earlier and, sandwich that time in.
Great point.
So definitely the sleep. And then the last thing that I'll mention is exercise. So starting to increase the, your overall output. We don't really like to talk about calories in versus calories out, but you need to expend energy. You can't just sit around all day. You can't just sit at the pool all day. You could still enjoy a nice day at the pool, swim back and forth in your pool a couple times. That's awesome cardio. Swimming sucks. Swimming is so hard. Yeah, crazy. You're going on vacation at the beach. Make it a point. Go for a walk every day. Middle of the day, I've been sitting in this beach chair for 4 hours. Go for a walk. See the sights. Try to find some sea glass. I don't know. Pick up some seashells. So start to move a little bit more. And then for those of you guys that do already exercise regularly, just up it a little bit. You don't have to exercise for 4 hours a day, but my suggestion would be, increase your weights a little bit. Make sure you're hitting the resistance training. You might want to, if you want to look good in a few days, try to up your reps a little bit. Try to get like what we've talked about before, like a little bit more of a pump type workout to get your muscles filled out. Sweat. Make sure you're sweating. So you want to sweat out kind of, I don't like to say sweat out toxins because that's not what it is, but you're sweating out sodium and electrolytes and things like that. So just to keep everything moving. So that's what I got.
What I love, and for everyone watching right now, what Lindsay's talking about here, and I took notes, and I'm listening, and I'm writing, I'm like, oh, habits. Right. She didn't say 1 calorie level, not 1 macronutrient ratio, not any specific set and rep scheme, not even what to do each and every day. Start drinking more water, asshole. Start eating healthy food. Eat a vegetable. Prepare your meals. Be accountable, dickhead. Get more sleep, you procrastinating turd. Go to bed 9 hours before you're supposed to wake up. Nothing happens. And God forbid someone has allowed you to crawl into bed with them. That still gives you the 2 minutes you may need to perform whatever disgusting little act you may perform. And then you still have 8 hours and 58 minutes to sleep after that. Exercise, move your body. I'm having fun here, joking, but these are habits. You want to get that started. Start employing these basic habits. Stop poisoning yourself with synthetic toxic chemicals, processed sugars, alcohol. Stop poisoning yourself. Stop stepping on your own, ladies in the room, so I won't say it, along the way by not sleeping enough. We spoke to some of our VIP consults this week, and part of the conversation was, listen, you're hiring us. You're paying a big dollar to be a part of this program. You're getting this a la carte white glove service. None of it is going to matter unless you get your ass to bed on time. We can build you the perfect meal plan, the perfect workout program, give you all the perfect stuff, the perfect blood work. But if you don't go to bed on time, why are you wasting our time? Like, we have no time for you. I have no time for that. Like that, and we were very clear of how this actually works. And this is the same thing for you guys. Exercise. God damn, do something you enjoy, but you're not awesome at. That is kind of challenging you, so you show up. You're mentally engaged to get better, and there's room to improve. But do it every day. And yeah, you're going to struggle every so often. You're going to even fail at it from time to time. Awesome. Don't hurt yourself. Make sure you can go back safely again tomorrow and try again. Like, this is what I just said, a 75-year-old can take this information and immediately adapt. A 25-year-old can take this information and immediately adapt it. It's great advice, Lindsay, that too few people actually embrace and follow. But when we speak with really fit, really healthy people, we find they're already crushing their water intake. They're already scheduled with their meals. They're structured. They're eating what they should be, when they should be eating it. They're already prioritizing sleep and managing stress. They're already exercising regularly. That's what really healthy and fit people do. Then they might come to us and they're like, hey, listen, I got this type of competition coming up, or I really want to step it up and drop body fat to a different level, or I had some sort of injury that crept up, or some sort of maybe genetic hereditary issue that's floating in the peripheral of their lifestyle that we can step in and address. So for you guys listening, man, this is it. This is simple habits. Healthy habits are everything you need. And that in many ways goes back to what we discussed with our Living Lean program, right? That's 80 to 90% of your success. Living lean is eating healthful whole foods in wide variety. It's getting proper sleep. It's avoiding stress in toxic situations, toxic people, right? Drinking water, fresh brewed tea, black coffee, avoiding synthetic toxic chemicals, processed sugars, and poisons. Right? Living your best life, smiling at strangers, helping your neighbors move the wood off their grass or whatever it might be. All of this really goes, and then you want to peak out for a few weeks at the end, enter that A-type training phase. That's easy, right? Then you could easily just transition into a 3 weeks to shredded program, let's say, or any of the other programs, squats and steak, which will be coming out later on into the fall. There's a lot of things out there that you could easily transition into.
For sure. That just sparked, you're talking about being lazy or whatever it may be, but it sparked like daily habits, sparked I think probably my number one pet peeve in all of life is people who don't put their damn cart back at the grocery store.
Yes.
It eats me up. Every time I go in the parking lot, I see all these carts just like leaning against the curb. I'm like, it's 10 feet away. Yep. Walk into the store and put your cart back. Yep. I can't stand it. It makes me so mad. And I'm the person that will gather up like 2 carts and go in the store and like glare at the person that's pulling out of their spot. Like, you're welcome. I got you. I can't stand that. But
I'm with you.
Yeah. But that, and you were saying smiling at strangers, people who don't say thank you when you hold the door.
Yeah.
That's probably number one and two top pet peeves in my life. But no, I mean, once you start to change these habits in your life, you're going to want to walk back into the store and put your cart back, or in the thing that's parked right next to your car that you're supposed to put your carts back into. Like, it's just going to affect it's going to affect your whole life, not just your health and fitness. And the other thing that I'll say is that for anybody that's like kind of on the edge, like that pre-contemplation stage, like, do I really want to dive into something like this? I'd say do it with the understanding that it's not a straight line. It's never a straight line. So if you're just looking at weight on a scale, it's going to look like, so if you start up here and you want to get down here, it's not going to be a straight line. It might be a straight line over the course of time if you really extrapolate it out, but it's going to be ups and downs all the way along your path. You might skip a workout this day, but you got these 3 days in. So a reminder that you're going to have failures along the way, but you're eventually going to get to your end goal. So that's another quote that I saw. It's like, success isn't achieving your goals. Success is like failing over and over and still staying the course. So even if you get knocked down, you got to get back up.
I love it.
Wow.
And what
sounded corny today.
There's truth to that, and it resonates at certain times. What you said about the shopping cart aligns with my father rant. I take my girls to the grocery store. I take my girls everywhere I go to do everything. I want them to see me interact in the world, and every interaction I have in the world, I know my girls are watching me. And then I can provide context into when we go food shopping. We get the cart, we do the thing, we look out for people, we're very friendly, we ask questions, we're helpful, we look at something, we put it back properly where it's supposed to go, right? So they see this. Not just some kids, they take stuff, they knock it off the counter, the parents just keep walking out. They pay someone to do that. So, and then we put all the stuff in the car. Now, I got kids. It's easy to like, I got kids. I got to get my kids in the car. Let me just leave this cart here. No, I put the stuff in the car because it's also a part of my responsibility to then take my girls, walk all the way back, and put the cart where it's supposed to go. And they're at the age now that I have them push the cart. So now they're actually doing this because we put things back when we're done so somebody else can use it. Like we teach this up, and there's a concept it's called rolling up the hose. Anyone who's ever done any yard work, I landscaped when I was a kid. You go out, you work, and this and that and the other thing, and it's very easy to go from one thing. I'll just drop the hose and I'll go over here and I'll do work, and then someone comes by because the hose is in the way. The lawnmowers, they got to move it. Then it gets moved again. Then it's in the owner's parking spot. It gets moved again. It's all dirty. It's been dragged through dog shit. It's crumpled up at the end. It may be on your own property. Then you just leave it there. Then it rains overnight. Then you have like this yellow in your grass on a hot sunny day. Your grass will actually die. So now you have this curled up, ugly like snake of where your hose was, instead of when you get done one thing, you put it away. You take the 3 minutes maybe that it takes to roll up. I have a 150-foot hose on my property that I go around and I do my little gardening type thing with. That's really freaking long, right? That's really freaking long. What is that, 150 feet? Anyway, you take the time to roll that up, which is super important. Or like, so anyway, I totally get it. And I watch these people with disdain because that's a reflection on them. Those who don't put their carts away, as tiny as it sounds, the little things matter most. It's the little things, how you do things when no one's watching, how you actually pay attention to the small things. That matters much more than the big things. It's easy to do the big things and make the grand gestures. It's like a very Seinfeld motion of me, by the way. It's easy to do the big things. Very difficult to do the small things. The small things are what win championships. The small things are what generate millions of dollars. The small things are what endear you to your community. And most people, they miss out on the small things. And we could go back to habits. Putting the card away, that's a habit. It's a habit of successful people, right? Getting my water in. I've got a whole case of these now just sitting here. There's no loss of water. I have like 3 different points of water, like I'm with Tim Kennedy, like, traveling the Sahara, like 3 different water sources at all given times. So just, hopefully that adds context to everybody here who's hanging out, who's listening. This stuff matters. And these principles that we discuss, they are evergreen. Right? They are evergreen. They're scientifically validated, battle tested at the greatest levels of sports performance, but just as important to the average folks out there. And I consider myself an average folk, right? I'm not getting in an octagon. There's no trophy waiting for me at any point over the next few decades that I'm aware of, right? I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I'm a neighbor. Like, I'm a friend, hopefully, like average folk. But I still set these huge goals for myself, as everyone here has to also. And you can't escape the rules. These are the rules, right? These are the things that have to be done.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a guy, his name's Alan Stein. He's like a coach at a really, really predominant high school in Maryland. But he's a basketball trainer, he's an author. Really, really good stuff for anybody who's looking for like inspirational type things. But he talks about the cart all the time. And it's so true. It's like, if you don't put your cart back, that is an indication of how you're going to do everything else for your life, for the rest of your day. Like it's just a lazy habit. And it's like cutting corners. Like I coach basketball. And if, we split up our team at 6 different baskets, and here's your drill, and here's the speed at which you're supposed to be doing it. Here's how many makes you need, blah, blah, blah. And we turn around after being turned and people are cutting corners. Like that's a reflection on your personality. That's a reflection on how you're going to do everything else. And I think you say this all the time. Is how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yep.
So it's just a translation. So for all you lazy people out there that don't put your cart back, when you go to the grocery store today, put your cart back and think of us.
That's it. And to that point, to spit it into the MMA world, the athletes that we worked with that were notoriously horrible weight cutters are athletes who notoriously had terrible self-control issues. Johnny Hendricks had so many issues making weight, not because Johnny wasn't an amazingly talented athlete, not because Johnny wasn't a really sweet human being. Like, you want Johnny Hendricks to be your neighbor. Like, that's a good man right there. But at the same time, Johnny struggled with his weight. I think he missed weight 3 or 4 times without us, made weight 7 times and became a world champion with us, never missed weight with us. And it took every ounce of skill and patience and loyalty for us to get him across those finish lines every single time. But to Lindsay's point, those who cut corners, Johnny's a guy. Coach John Smith, one of the greatest American wrestlers of all time, possibly the greatest American wrestler of all time, was Johnny Hendricks' coach at OSU, Oklahoma State University. And I know Coach Smith a little bit. And then I was there, at OSU doing practice with Johnny there, doing one of the training camps, I think getting ready for GSP. And Coach Smith pulls me over and he's like, Coach, what's up, Coach? Coach the coach. And he's like, you got your hands full with this one, huh? I was like, yeah. And he's like, he ever tell you the story? We had to pull him out of McDonald's the night before. I believe it was either All-American for his All-American match or in the national tournament. They weighed Johnny in after practice that day. He's got to weigh in for one of the biggest, I forget if it's All-American tour or national tour, one of the biggest tournaments of his life, biggest weigh-ins of his life. His entire career up until that point, some 20 years of his life, was about that moment. And he disappeared. And one of the assistant coaches, might have been Zach Esposito, one of the assistant coaches found him in line at a McDonald's. That type of mentality, that type of issue is what leads people down. Now, I will say, if Johnny had, and I love Johnny Hendricks, and this is not being critical or mean towards him, but I will say with all honesty, had Johnny Hendricks been able to capture whatever demon that was, whatever demon he had he been able to live the straight and narrow while being a competitor, he would have gone down in history as the most dominant welterweight of all time, probably a lightweight, because based upon lean mass analysis, what his blood work was, what his training history was, what his body frame, bone density, all the things, all the tests, the diagnostics that we run, he could have made 55. I know that for sure. If he gave us a good 6 to 18 month run, which we worked with him for multiple years, if he gave us a good run, he could have been one of the first 2-division legitimate world champions. Forget this champ stuff with Connor and DC. This is well before that. Randy Couture was a legitimate champ, light heavyweight and heavyweight. Randy did it first and possibly best because it hadn't been done. But anyway, as an aside, I'll put Johnny into that situation for everyone listening to who knows MMA and who knows the story of Johnny Hendricks and knows the way his career ended, kind of like fizzled at the end. He just fell off a cliff. I believe that's because he abused himself through food and these unnecessary massive weight cuts so many times because his car kept pulling back into the McDonald's parking lot. And he kept intentionally getting out, walking inside, getting in line, ordering, and then sitting in his car and eating it at midnight. That whatever that demon was, and we all have that demon in us, and I'm not on a high horse here, but this is just a little bit more context for you guys listening right now. This episode was more than you thought you were going to get, for sure. But whatever that demon is, you have to capture, you have to slay that demon, and it starts with awareness, acceptance, right? Those in the 12-step community, they say acceptance is the first step. Acceptance. You have to understand it. And then from there, we move forward to becoming intentional, becoming accountable, becoming mindful, understanding very clearly what your goals are, what action steps we need to accomplish to get there. What are the waypoints along this journey? Because if the GPS says turn left and you turn right, odds are that you're not going to get where you want it to go. So stop even saying you're trying to get there. That's one of the things. One of my pet peeves is people who say they want to do X, when their actions clearly indicate why. Oh man, I'm just trying to lose weight. What'd you eat today? Well, I mean, you know, I'm a real busy guy. I'm a real busy gal. I'm so important at work. You know, I got to go out to dinner. So, well, I'm pretty busy. I'm pretty important. I've flown on private jets and fancy dinners and concierge service, private chefs even. I never broke. So what's your issue? And again, Zach C, you look like chewed up bubble gum sitting in front of me right now. Right? I know
up bubble gum.
Right? I mean, everyone knows the body. If your body looks like chewed up bubble gum, it's time to make a change. If your legs look like bruised bananas hanging out of your shorts, it's time to change. Not just for the aesthetics, because we understand what's happening inside. That is not a life lived long, nor is that a life enjoyed very long. And I know people in those bodies are suffering in silence, because we speak with them all day long, every day. We understand completely. They put on the bravado of body positivity and all this, and, you know, Big Al and Big Tony, and, you know, never really met a Big Sue, but, you know, she's just big boned, and my family are big, and this is just the way we are. Oh, you're all just diabetics?
It's genetic.
Oh, it's genetic.
Yeah.
This, of course. So anyway, that's to share with you guys, also for you guys to think on here a little bit. Lindsay, feel free to add something else, and then, you know, let's jump in and answer some of these questions here.
Yeah, I think that would go down in the top 5 of the pet peeves, because, you know, we talk to people all the time, and it's like, well, I'm doing everything right, but I just can't seem to get results. So then when you start digging a little deeper, asking more questions like, well, what do you think that you're doing right?
Yeah.
And it's not happening. Or it happened on Monday and half of Tuesday, and then the rest of the week it did not happen. So, I mean, anybody who kind of feels like they're in this category, like, go down the list of things that we talked about. Drinking enough water, eating fruits and vegetables, not eating garbage food and diet soda and all this stuff, getting enough sleep, exercising regularly. Like, can you check off those boxes every day? And if you can't, start there. So Start there. And then if you still are struggling, and people struggle all the time, people have horrible relationships with food and their bodies and things like that. It's completely normal. I would say most people have a negative image of them. More people have a negative image of themselves than a positive image of themselves. And that's sad. So, you know, start there and then, you know, see how much changes.
Yeah, that's part of the Summer Shredded Challenge concept. It's to shake people out of the norm that, you know, you're fine the way you are, but I don't feel fine. I feel like I'm unhealthy. I don't like the way I feel. I'm up another suit size this season. Another suit size. I was depressed last season. Now I'm up another size this season. Like, I don't feel good about myself, but it's already summertime. It's too late. That's the concept of the Summer Shredded Challenge. That is the energy. It is not too late to get your ultimate summer body. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's all bullshit. I don't care about your ultimate summer body. I don't care about my ultimate summer body. I care about living my best life in my best body. That's what I care about. So we can say, yeah, the ultimate summer body, like, fuck. Yeah, you're going to look awesome this summer. Like, turning heads on the beach, like, holy shit. Awesome. But then it doesn't stop there. That's the point of this, is getting people on board. And I know once they can feel how good it feels to feel good, right? To use that over and over, most people have no idea how good it actually feels to be healthy, to be fit, to put on a bathing suit that's too big, to finally wear the cut and the style that you've always wanted to wear but could never wear because you did not look like the girl in the picture did. Like, I get it. God damn, we work with these people all day long, and we could see it, and the transformation, and then to see them a year later and 5 years later. And now, decades later, we literally have clients that we've worked with for decades now who still follow the system. They still follow the principles. They still live their best life. Well, that's the whole concept of the Summer Shredded Challenge. I mean, just so simply and so briefly, you can see these folks, these regular folks who just dramatically change their bodies from all walks of life and all starting points, who just decided to one day make a change, right? And take that step forward. And these are just a few of thousands and thousands and thousands of testimonials that have been sent to us. Not even just all the people who've changed their lives by doing this, by following this. Look at how happy, look at how happy, look at how different, how awesome this is. Come on now. It's incredible. This is what really gets me hyped up. Again, look below the Summer Shredded Challenge. If anyone's interested, it's like setting the GPS to your ultimate body, right? That's what we say. We're giving a 25% discount right now. Summer Shred is the promo code, but that'll also get you invited to join our private coaching group. So all the members of the Summer Shred Challenge, you're actually be invited to join our private coaching group so we can walk the journey with you and give you the tips and give you the tricks and help cheer for you and support you and challenge you. If you kind of end up in the guardrail, we'll challenge you to get your ass back up and get back to work. You make one mistake, ladies and gentlemen, that does not define you. What defines you is what you do next. People, they'll eat something bad. They're like, oh, well, I already ate something bad, so I might as well just blow the entire effing day then. Well, I mean, I ate bad yesterday. I might as well just blow the weekend then and start Monday. Come on. That's old you. That's fat you. That's bubblegum belly you. That's that type of mentality. If something happens, you go off the rails a little bit, get your ass right back on. Chug that water. Go for a walk. Reframe. Get right. Where is it? Where are you in the menu? And that's the beautiful thing about the 3 Weeks to Shred It program. Every meal is detailed specifically for you. Every recipe, every ingredient, grocery list, every workout, every set, every rep, video tutorials. It's all freaking there, which makes it so easy. That's why we say it's like setting a GPS to your ultimate body. It's all there. Lori, just joined the Summer Shred team. How to get the Facebook invite. Those will be going out momentarily. I'm sure the team's in it right now, shooting them. So just look, Lori. Those will be coming out to you soon. Zach C. So guys and gals, feel free to leave any comments below or if you want any questions answered here. Zach C will volunteer his male stripping services for 1 hour to the female winner of the Summer Shredded Challenge. Why are you discriminating, bro? Why is it got to be females only? I mean, that's not fair. You gotta share a little bit more, man. You gotta share, Zach. Come on now. That is motivation right there. Zach in the leopard print pants, rolling up to your doorstep. Uh-oh.
Delivery.
I got a package for you. All right, Keith asks, Lindsay, this would be for you. What would you guys suggest are the best ways of getting cortisol levels under control apart from physical activity? You have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I mean, cortisol, I hate hormones because hormones, and I've talked about this before, hormones are affected, not all of them, but they're affected by your mind. Like you could increase cortisol levels by just stressing yourself out. Same thing with adrenaline. You skip a step on the sidewalk and you get this rush of adrenaline. It's just really one of the most the parts of physiology and biochemistry that just blows my mind are hormones. But cortisol specifically is a stress hormone. So you see high cortisol levels in people who are stressed, not eating enough, not sleeping enough, not drinking enough water. So pretty much switch all of those things, go in the opposite direction. So prioritize your sleep, making sure that you're getting enough physical activity in. Find something that reduces your stress. Whatever it is, it's different for everybody. If you need to wake up and take a walk, or if you're at work and you're super stressed out, you have an hour lunch, take a 20-minute walk, calm yourself down, deep breathing. Anytime you feel like your heart rate's up and you're just sitting there stressed out, take a couple deep breaths. Like the old saying, in through the nose, out through the mouth,
Yeah.
deep breathing. But no, whatever it may be, it's meditation, it's reading, yoga, anything like that. All of those things can help reduce cortisol. And eating enough calories too. People who are super calorie restrictive are like in this stressed inflammatory environment that could also affect cortisol.
And that's a great point. Mentality. People don't understand how important your emotional state is with regards to your physical.
Yep.
Like, this is why many of the well-educated weight cutting professionals fail, simply because they're so busy looking at the calorie intake of an individual, they never take a moment to think about the psychological and the emotional impact the situation is having on the individual. And I think that's one of the things that we do extremely well, is we help manage the emotional, the psychological state of the athlete, which makes the food intake so simple. The actual weight cutting itself is so easy. It's so simple. And many ways it's because we understand cortisol is an inflammatory hormone, right? We want to reduce that as much as possible. So great point. Keeping that stress. And we talk about keeping toxic people out of your life. Toxic people and toxic situations, they are toxic for a reason. One of the biggest things I would suggest is cut all toxic humans from your life. Lord knows I've cut quite a few, and those that some of you might be shocked by. You might be shocked at the close proximity of certain individuals in my world that I do not allow access to myself or my family, simply because of their dysfunctional, toxic behaviors. And I will not allow their inability to control themselves have a negative impact on myself, my health, my wellness, and definitely not that of my family. These are hard decisions that you have to make. And many people won't make these decisions. They simply allow that type of toxicity to encroach upon their life and erode their own health, their own happiness. And you can't do that. You cannot do that. And especially parents. Like, that's this is kind of like a parent theme. Like, parents that allow that type of toxic engagement in their sphere around their children or directly with their children, you have to rethink that. I mean, shame on you in many ways. Oh, but we've known each other for, like, that's just the way they are. Gone. Until they can fix themselves. The door's always open. The door's always open. And that's something that matters, because, God, I mean, Lindsay, how many people do you know, whether clients or just family and friends that probably should be clients, many of their issues are more emotionally. The origin, it's like you have a physical manifestation of an emotional conflict. That's what many people suffer from on a nutrition perspective. There's an emotional issue going on here that is, obvious, or, comes out through health issues or fitness issues, body composition issues, right? Whether it's the LDL or what is the inflammatory marker reading? Is it I've got CPAP stuck in my head for some reason, but it's not a CPAP. That's a breathing machine. Cardioreactive protein. Like, you can see, I could look at someone's blood work and I can tell that their emotional life is a fucking mess. Right. But not even just looking at like cortisol, let's say, like, we can look at that too. Blood work shows a lot. So you can really tell emotionally what's happening. But most people, they then abuse their body. They abuse themselves. They is it self-flatulate? Is that the right term? I like flatulate. That doesn't, I'm not, no, I think that's like, what we call tooting in my house.
I was about to say, I didn't think you got the wrong term there.
Right. So they beat, I know, I totally,
different F word.
It's a different F word. I always mess it up, but people beat themselves. They beat themselves. And what easy way to beat yourself, to prove that you're no good and you're not worthy and you're not worthwhile and you deserve the horrible treatment that your family and friends have been giving you for so long, is to beat yourself with poisonous food, right? To beat yourself with that and beat yourself with that. And that's what a lot of people do. So, and with not exercising and staying up too late and just thrusting themselves into all these negative vices and negative experiences. So many people do this stuff and they hurt themselves. It's emotionally tied. And I know everyone here listening right now is relating to this.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of hormones, like dopamine, it's the feel-good hormone. Taking a bite of pizza for there you
Thank
go.
you, George.
Thanks. You were
Appreciate
close.
that. Yeah, I know. It's yeah. So anyway, thank you, George.
Yeah. But getting gratification, whether it be like, indulging in something, or like I was going to say, like taking a bite of pizza, like it releases dopamine, like rich carbohydrates. That's an actual response, a scientific response to that.
Yep.
But it's temporary. So it's only temporary. And then you're going to feel like shit. It's the same thing. Like I listened to a really good podcast a few years ago about social media and like selfies and posts and the dopamine that you receive when your phone goes off, like, oh, somebody texted me, because you're not thinking about it, but in your brain, deep in your brain, you're like, oh, somebody cared enough to reach out to me or give me a like or comment on my post or whatever it may be. And the same thing goes for food. It's a temporary rush or that hit of dopamine to make yourself feel better. But you know what else releases dopamine? Exercise. So how about we switch to that?
Imagine that. It's like so dad themed, but there's a lot of young people now that they have dismissive parents. And when I say dismissive parents, the parents are dismissive of their own responsibility to their children. And the parents dismiss the behavior of their children. And the parents defer their responsibility to technology. How many children do you know are being trained to beep, deep, deep, scroll, look, thumbs up, comment, nasty comment, where are my comments, where are my likes? Oh, like tight shirt. Oh, wow, I got more likes with that tight shirt. Oh, I got even more likes showing my midriff. Even more likes showing side boob. Even more. I mean, this is being taught to children in single digit age, right? And this is all dopamine. And the documentary, so I didn't watch it yet, but is it the Netflix documentary? Everyone keeps telling me to watch, likely. Now, we understand. I got to watch the things I say because I have conversations, some of which are under NDAs and different projects that we're on, so non-disclosure agreements. But I know definitively for a fact, most major companies, this is what they do. This is how they market to you. And they don't care what product you're purchasing. They only care that you purchase more. That's it. And they actually can do this. They can craft this through these type of training events. Like parents are literally grooming their children by being dismissive parents, which turns into what down the road? My prediction, society will be WALL-E, the Disney movie, Pixar movie WALL-E, right? That's where society is going, where people just sit in their floating rovers with their morbid obesity and they just stare at the screen, and like the Coke bottle like has like the computer hand just like puts a Coke like right in their mouth, and they sip it and they just kind of continue on. That's what's happening to society. And it's a scary freaking thing to see the world through a parent's eyes, having the understanding of health and fitness that we have. But also I've been fortunate to be behind the scenes in many boardrooms for many national, international companies and be a privy to campaigns and to see the way they are, which is why I think because I know what I know, I'm so clear about never being that, right? That's why we don't sell out. That's why we don't do the things that most do, even though I understand it does hurt the bottom line of the business. If I was trying to grow a massive business, well, you better believe I'd be doing a lot of this stuff right now. My whole look at how many G-strings there are on my social media page, right? I mean, just think about this. Look at how many like of the tricks every other fitness influencer uses that we don't do that. We just don't do that. We don't go down that, but we're very well aware of it. And people experience this in their real life often. And it makes me sad because we all know people that you see your friend, you see your family, you see someone that you see their Facebook page and you're like, oh, oh my gosh, I can't believe, why would you post that photo? What are you doing? Like, you got kids. What are you doing? Like, you're a professional. Like, what are you doing posting that stuff? They're fishing for dopamine hits. That's really all it is. Likely because there's some other emotional void. Maybe they didn't have a strong parent or two, a parental unit, mom and dad, when they were growing up, and that void just got. I'm sorry.
Attention.
Yes, they didn't have that, and so there's so many things. So again, intentionality is everything, and the awareness and the acceptance. So everyone, we need to step aside and step outside of ourselves, right? Really step outside of ourselves and see the world as it is and the way we're interacting in it, and make the hard decisions. It's hard for me to go to bed at 8:30 at night sometimes, 9 o'clock at night sometimes. I got to get up. I have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, I have to get up. I'm going to bed. Like, that's the end of it. I could easily stay up. No, who's going to tell me not to go to bed? I can stay up as long as I want, right? I'm a grown-ass man. It's hard to go to bed on some points, but I'm not going to sacrifice my health or my fitness or my longevity or my ability to do the other great things that I want to hit those waypoints along the way. Everyone's eating birthday cake. People are making fun of me because I'm not eating birthday cake and I'm looking at their bodies. You want to make fun of me? Ab contest, like, like fire. I guarantee I'm getting to the front of the door first. Like, I'm kind of, being snarky here on purpose in a way, but it's something to be aware of. So that delayed gratification concept, to not do what everyone else is doing, is probably the best approach. When we look around, we understand 2 out of 3 humans are overweight or obese, right? Soon to be 3 out of 4, which is a worse number. Right? Childhood obesity is the worst it's ever been in recorded history, as is childhood diabetes. Brandy and I saw a family walking towards us. The children, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old kids, were obese. Childhood obesity is an anomaly. Should be an anomaly, and was an anomaly just a few decades ago. It was an anomaly. My opinion, non-medically traced childhood obesity is child abuse. 100%. Debate me. Let's talk. Let's chat. I want to hear this one. I want to have this conversation. To see children walking around, not just a tall kid, I don't care about that. From a composition perspective, kids walking around sucking on neon-colored sugar water while eating fried, dead, processed chicken parts, whatever else. I don't even know what these things are that these families are feeding these kids, right? They've probably never eaten a vegetable. And then I look at the parents. I'm like, oh, of course. Parents are 250 and 350 pounds, right? Like, what do we expect here? So again, this is something that everyone needs to pay attention to. And you'll see, like, judge these families. Judge them. What are they eating right now? Oh, are you serious? Eating that at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday morning? Like, really? You fucking crazy? Like, that's like once a year, maybe, at a fair. Do you eat something like that? Like, maybe. Anyway, I'm ranting again.
No, I agree with you. Like, it's interesting to look at it from a child abuse perspective, because it really is, you're damaging your kid's health. And again, I'm not a parent, so I'm not saying that I'm this perfect parent and my kids are so fit and blah blah blah. I'm not saying that, but if you're allowing your child to become unhealthy and develop unhealthy habits, it affects their health. So they're probably not going to live as long. We're in a global pandemic where your health status pretty much determines your outcome of how you deal with an illness.
Yep.
But thinking about the cost of medication, the cost of insulin, all this stuff, like I just don't get it. And I understand everybody's in a different boat and they have, different issues and things like that. But it's sad to see, and it's hard to take that approach. Like when you see people in public, it's like you want to go over and be like, you want to just sit down and have a conversation and like do a consult with the family, like right then and there, because you want to help them. And it's not like help them because they're like, oh, they're fat and they're gross. I'm not saying that at all. Help them become a healthier person.
Yeah.
And, somebody who does not have, metabolic syndrome and whose 12-year-old doesn't have type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that one for sure.
The highest rate of childhood obesity in recorded history is today. It's right now. The highest rate of childhood diabetes is today. It's right now. This is all caused by the family, by the food that the parents are feeding to their children, poisoning their children. The parents know it. Everyone knows it. We all know it. It's not like they're giving them like keen or gluten-free bread instead of real bread and they just eat a little bit too much. No, it's because they're poisoning their children with synthetic toxic chemicals that idiots out there in the YouTube fitness sphere pretend are healthy because they're low-cal options. But when these idiots are all fucking juiced up, they look the way they do because of all the anabolics, all the steroids, all the thermogenics, all the growth agents. Right? That's why they look that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then they talk about eating all these synthetic toxic chemicals, these low calorie food sources, low sugar food sources, low fat food sources. Right? So it's such a misnomer or just a misclassification.
And I also think and I don't know where it starts. Like I don't know where to start to fix the problem, but I think that foods that are good for you, like fruits, vegetables, grilled chicken, things like that, they're deemed in society as like healthy, so they must not taste good. And it's like kids absorb that, and I don't know where it comes from. Commercials, their parents. Yeah, well, okay, that
comes from fat parents. I speak with them. I talk to them. I'm related to some of them.
Yeah, but it's like the foods that are good for you. They're not termed. These foods are gonna help you grow, and they're good for you, and they're gonna provide you with all the nutrients you need. They're deemed healthy foods, so that must automatically mean that they're like, oh, they don't taste good. Like I have to eat my broccoli. Stuff like that. So, and I don't know how we fix that. I guess one person at a time.
Well, you hit it on the head right there, and that's what I was just going to say. You start with yourself. There's an analogy, a parable, a metaphor. Starts with this: a child wants to change the world, and the teacher says, go change yourself first. The child changes himself and it goes, I said, now I'm ready to change the world. And the teacher says, go change your family first. Child changes himself, takes years. They finally change their family. Goes back and says, now I'm ready to change the world. Go change your neighbors first. Go change your town first. Go change your state first. Go change your region first. Go change your country first. Go change your continent first. Go finally, eventually change the world. It all starts with yourself. It's very easy to tell people what to do. But if you don't embody that, that's why every coach, every DDC, every coach we come across, every question, how do I become a great coach? You must be the fittest person in every room you walk into. You must be the epitome of health and fitness. Now, when I walk into a room and Chad Johnson's standing there, he's asking me questions, right? When I'm standing next to Mike Tyson, he's asking me questions, whomever it might be. Why is that? Because I'm a better football player or a boxer? Oh, fuck no. Because I'm faster than Usain Bolt or Galen Rupp, bronze medalist in the marathon, because I can run farther than Galen. I can't run 1 mile as fast as he can run average 26. I can't run my first mile faster than he runs his last mile. On my best day, I can't, to be fair. But it all starts with you being the best version of yourself, putting that shopping cart back when nobody's watching, because that shows, that comes through. Everyone's eating cake. I'm not eating cake. I ate before I came here because I knew you would only have cake and candy and crap available. I'm not eating that. Oh, you're a fucking weirdo. Yeah.
A healthy weirdo.
Healthy. I mean, it's like how deep do I want to engage in these conversations? And usually people don't engage further than 2 or 3 sentences. And I call it the mirror test. I just show them what they are and the things that they're saying. And they're like, and then they'll kind of make a joke. I know I should probably eat better. No, you're going to fucking die a horrible death. You're going to be a burden on your fucking family, and you're going to clog up the healthcare system. That's what you're, not just you should eat a little bit better. No, you're going to get your fucking leg chopped off in your 50s probably, because you can't stop eating Sour Patch Kids as a 30-some-odd-year-old and drinking soda all fucking day long. But you hate vegetables and you can't stand the taste of water. And you have to binge on your Netflix show because you just need your space, your me time after you put your kids to bed, when you didn't even rarely fucking raise them anyway. School did for 6 hours, and then they're in front of TV and iPad until you shove processed nuggets down their face, and then it's fucking bedtime. Am I wrong? Am I so wrong?
I was going to
here?
say it sounds harsh and mean, but it's so true. It's so true.
Right? Yep. That's the truth. All right, so what else we got? This is fun. I like these type of conversations.
I know.
See, Lindsay, I don't know if you do. Well, you're a respectable member of the academia, but they make these little certain things, these little things that, well, they come in things like this. I don't know if anybody knows what this is, by the way. Do you know what this is? It's okay if you don't. I'm keeping things low on purpose. Some people out there know what these are.
I could guess.
You could guess. I'm just saying. This is like this medicinal thing that's out there. Leads to very interesting, fun conversations. I'm just saying, by the way.
Legal in some areas.
Legal in New Jersey. Finally. Recreationally legal in New Jersey, by the way. Was medicinally, now recreationally, but in Vegas, that was awesome. That was like
free reign.
You had a dispensary in Vegas, and it's like, hey, there's the head of the largest law firm in the entire state, and like there's the dude I saw stealing my sunglasses from my car. What's up, fellas? Like,
how's it going?
How's it going? Look at one thing we all have in common. How cool is that, right? So true, though. It's like, I would see like just these old, like Tommy Bahama, like white people, and these like straight out of like a Wu-Tang Clan, like backup, no, like a Cardi B, like backup dancer, all just like talking about what they're getting. What are you getting? Oh man, I do this for when I go, when I'm going to the casino, I like it this, but if we're going to go to the Red Rocks and we do this one, but we're just going to hang out at home. And they're like, oh, that's a great idea. Like fucking, there should be reality shows inside some of these dispensaries as a whole nother conversation. Just like eavesdropping on people talking. I don't think you can pull that off though. Not that I've ever gone to these places, by the way. I'm not saying I have, by the way. All right. Well, what do we have here? Bam. Those of you interested, go to thedolcediet.com right now to start the summer shredded challenge. Look at that. Look at that. That's always a little bit embarrassing that it landed there, but hey, why not? before 280 pounds. You've seen this before, Lindsay, right? 280 pound Mike. Bam. And then 100-pound less. Not bad. Not bad. All the fun stuff. Everyone go to thedolcediet.com. Click the link below. If you're interested, you can certainly learn more about the Summer Shredded Challenge. Start the 3 weeks to Shredded program. Get the ultimate summer body that you absolutely deserve. Also, you want to get your blood test. We're going to be doing a blood testing video here coming soon, the test that you should be considering. Right now, letsgetchecked.com/Dolce is having a 35% discount with promo code Dolce. Get your blood work tested. Go to letsgetchecked.com/Dolce. Once again, promo code Dolce. Guys, get that hormone panel done. Get your total test, your free test, your SHBG, your FSH, and your estradiol. Let's see what that is. Let's see what you're working with. Let's see what's going on. Ladies, I'd say get your thyroid checked. One of the things that most ladies don't do, oddly, and maybe Lindsay, you have let me finish this little shout, is many ladies work their asses off, diet-wise, exercise-wise. They really do the sacrifice, and they're like, I just can't lose any weight. Well, turns out they have undiagnosed thyroid issues that a simple, $30, $50 test, whatever it is, can show you. And it's very easy to get a doctor to fix that with just a little piece of a little pill sometimes. Brandy had a thyroid issue that we spoke about on the podcast a while ago. Took maybe 3 months or so to get it back up and running again, and she doesn't have to take anything, totally normal. But she was go ahead.
Yeah, it's super common.
So common.
Super common. And it's tough. Like, a lot of people fall into this thing where they think it's their thyroid and they just blame their thyroid, and then they get it checked and it's actually not their thyroid. But the thyroid, the gland in your neck, essentially is your, the thermostat, so to speak, to drive your metabolism, essentially. So if you have an underactive thyroid, you're not producing enough thyroid hormone, which affects your metabolism. So your resting metabolic rate essentially could be lower than what it needs to be. So for thyroid, it's three things. You get T3, T4, which are two different types of hormones, and then you get TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. Boom, there it is.
Boom.
Yeah, so thyroid stimulating hormone, T3, T4, that's it. Super easy. You want to look at your TSH mostly. If that's high, that means you're not producing enough thyroid hormone, because that's the hormone that stimulates hormone production. So you want to definitely take a look at that. I guess I have it easy. I don't have a thyroid. So
You lucky girl.
So I will have high metabolism for the rest of my life now. No. I really don't have a thyroid.
So yeah, I remember, and let me get this off the screen. So I remember we discussed this, gangster. Yeah. So you had your thyroid removed, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So I was 16.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was 16. I just turned 17. I had to get 2 surgeries, stuff like that. But I mean, that's a completely very rare situation. Although thyroid cancer is fairly common, nobody should be concerned that they have thyroid cancer. I had a slight enlargement. All my tests came back negative. I had it removed. And a week later, they did the actual pathology on the tissue that they removed and actually found out that it was thyroid cancer. So I had to go back in a week later. I had a nice, tiny, little, beautiful scar, and they had to rip it open to get the rest out. So, and the radiation treatments and things like that. So, but no, I get it regularly checked every year. So just to make sure we're all good. So.
And do you now, so you have to take supplemental thyroid, is it thyroxine?
It's, thyroxine. It's Synthroid is like the name brand, which I unfortunately have to take because it's the most effective.
And most expensive then.
Exactly. Yes. But for somebody that needs a low dose of thyroid hormone, the generic brand is very inexpensive. If you're on a super low dose, it's still completely functional. So.
And this is actually a great point. As you're speaking now, you have to take the Synthroid because it is the premium brand. Do you have any information on the generics? Because the generics have much higher levels of impurities that the Synthroids, let's say, don't have. And a lot of people will just automatically opt for the cheapest. The cheapest prescription medication, you have to talk to your doctor and your pharmacist. Yeah. sometimes can do more harm than actual
Mm-hmm.
good. You care to share anything about that from your experience?
Yeah, I mean that's what I was told. I've seen the same endocrinologist for the last 15 years or whatever it's been. Um, but no, same thing. She said there's, not that there's like other ingredients in it, but it's not as effective in doing what it needs to do.
Yeah.
And in my mind, like I'm going to get a 3-month supply. It's going to cost me $100. It's essentially $1 a day to stay alive. So I'm going to pay that. Or who's somebody who has an underactive thyroid, that's $1 a day to feel how you're supposed to be feeling. So I think it's a worthy investment. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
And the generic might even be free, but depending
Right.
on your healthcare, or $3 or $7, right?
Yeah, super cheap, super cheap.
So everyone, that's such a great point to add this. And I've had this conversation. I get a pharmacist on here who can break it down. I don't want to speak out of turn, but you must discuss with your doctor.
Yeah.
And then double check your doctor with your pharmacist and say, hey, should I be taking the name brand, and what possible side effects might I incur as a result of the generic? The generics, many of the generics are dirty. Like, they do not do what the name brand does. And many people just think it's like, oh, it's fine. It's like Coca-Cola or local store-bought cola. Like, right? You drink that, you're like, oh, this stuff is fucking disgusting. It's just like Coke, they say. It's not. Like, now imagine if this is a prescription medicine that has a similar disconnect, right? Whatever that might be doing to your body. But if you have a serious health issue, my goodness, please, it's just friendly advice here. I forget where I first had this conversation. I think it was when Brandy was pregnant. When Brandy was pregnant, she like gotten sick, like caught the flu or something like that. And she didn't want to take anything. And the doctor was like, listen, call me. Do not take a generic. Like, do not take a generic. Like, you take the name brand, whatever it is, like, call me. I'll see if I have any samples, like, kind of went through, but she made it such a point. It really opened up our mind to like, wait, what are you talking about? I thought generic was like just as good.
Right.
No, there's a reason why it's $3 and not $300. There's a fucking reason for that.
Yeah, for sure. And that branches out like to anybody who has a special condition, or even if it's just your normal checkup at your, family care doctor. People are so afraid, or they so afraid to ask questions, or they don't feel comfortable asking questions. Or so many people are like, oh, I was going to ask, but I forgot. Write your questions down for the doctor. Even if it sounds so stupid, like you're paying them, or your insurance pays them, to provide you with care. So make them work. Don't let them come in for 3 minutes and be like, see ya. What's the average a physician spends with a patient? It's like
6 minutes.
Yeah, 6 minutes. Yeah. So pick their brain a little bit. Make them, they'll remember you too. So then if something comes up in your blood work, they're like, oh yeah, they asked me about this, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, make them work.
No, you're right. It's like when my doctor comes in, they're like, hey, a little bit of pleasantries. I'm already there. I already know exactly what the issue is. I've already done a bunch of research. I've educated myself. I say, listen, this is what it is. This is where I feel it. This is what I think it might be. I also have this other issue that might be completely unrelated, right? Like, I'll go through the entire list. And then, like, what else are you looking for? Like, while the doctor's there, because they're just like, all right, I got this guy, I got this guy, I got to get through. I got to call my fucking wife in a little bit. My kid's got that thing I got to go to tonight. Like, they're humans too. Like, people think doctors are, miracle workers, and some work miracles, but they're regular humans just like you. They have good days and bad days. And Lindsay, you're spot on. You have to stop them and be like, hey,
answer my questions.
Answer my questions. I am here with a real human issue. I'm not just one of 17 clients you're going to see. I'm the only version of me that I need to know this information. So go in there fully prepared. You're absolutely right on that. It's hard because I can see doctors, they're like, all right, they're ready to jump out. I want context here. I'm not your regular old, take 2 of these, call me in the morning. Like, what are those? Can I do something instead of those? Yeah. What are they going to do? What's the side effect of those? Like, I don't want to take those. Like, what else is there to take? Why do I have to take those? I love it when doctors, they prescribe you something, but they don't ask you anything about your lifestyle. They don't ask you about your sleep schedule. They don't ask you about your food. They don't ask you about your exercise. It's like, you know what?
On to the next one.
Yeah, on the next one. And when a doctor walks in, I'm judging you. I'm like, oh, not you. Not you, bubblegum belly. Like, not you. It's like the one doctor I found here is probably 70 years old, looks like he's 50. Small little guy, kind of like as he should be at that age and stage of life. Was a runner, still runs, like kind of like marathon runners. Like, all right, you got some stuff. He keeps telling me I'm too big. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I get it. I'm on my way down. Summer shredded challenge, doc. Duh. Like, you even 3 weeks to shredded, man. So it's like that good banter. It's like, yeah, I get it, because he's only thinking longevity. Like, oh, longevity. I know, but at my age and stage of life, I certainly am coming down on my way down. I'll probably be walking in the mid 190s here in the next year or two, down from the low 210, 212s, right? Which used to be in the 220s not that long ago. So slowly, as age comes on, I'm changing a lot about what I do. So again, for everyone out there, because I know we have a wide, very eclectic audience, wide base of individuals, just know where you are, at what stage of life you're in, and what's important to you and what you need to be doing. John Johnson says, I was a single dad raising my 2 kids full-time custody. Their mom was not a good mom, nor was she in a place to raise kids. She didn't pay a drop of child support, and that's okay. John Johnson, right on, brother. You are a powerful dad out there. You're the ones who deserves the accolades for what you're doing, but I know you're not fishing for them. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm not. Moms aren't. Like, we just go, good parents, male, female, does not matter. A good parent just goes about the work of being a good fucking parent, and just, God forbid, hoping we're doing it. Hoping we're doing we're trying our best, for sure. We're doing our best that we know how to do. And like, God damn, I hope it's good enough. Like, that's really what it comes down to being a parent. Everything you do, you're just like, God, I hope I did that one well. Instead of just being like, whatever, Susie. Well, guys and gals, you are awesome. We appreciate you. Professor Lindsay Howard is the best. Thank you so much for being here. Summer Shredded Challenge. Click the links below. It is not too late to get your ultimate summer body and save 25% right now with promo code SUMMERSHRED, and be invited to join our private Facebook coaching group, which is awesome. Lindsay, you have anything else to share with the community?
This is a high quality conversation today, and I hope people connected. I think we're on a human level today. So,
very rare that we've lowered ourselves to the grounds that mere humans walk. I'm just kidding. By the way, guys and gals, you are awesome. Thank you for being here. Lindsay, you are absolutely amazing. Always a pleasure to spend time chatting with you, and I really enjoyed this.
Thank you.
And until next time, boom!